Mr. Wiggly, I say, step inside the tempo. Mr. Wiggly, I push it, yo. Hey, step inside, I give thanks and the highest praise. Ground myself to my earth, connect out the space.
Well, hello everybody. Hopefully I'm working. Let's see if this does work. Give us a thumbs up in the chat if you can actually hear me. See if I got this right for the first time. How are you doing? I've put another hat on, if I had a hat. Anyone who watched Jamie's amazing show that should be coming to a close as we speak. I was on there, which was interesting, so I had to rush around and get set up for this one in about 5 minutes. But thank you, Tony. Thumbs up from Tony and Paul and everybody. So lovely to see you in the chat. Yeah, that was good. Talking about EMOM, electronic music open mic nights, which are exploding onto the scene. I think is probably the best way of putting it. So bring your synth and come down and have a jam for 15 minutes, I think, a set. Like Clownfest, really, but slightly more regulated in some ways, I suppose. Really, really, really good. Anyway, I can see a few people popping over now from Jamie's show, which is really, really cool. It was lovely to see you. Let's see who was first in the chat. Paul Talbot is there. I'm pretty sure I saw. Oh yeah, Paul Talbot. Kent Spong, I was going to say, was in there almost first. Hello to you, sir. I need to get the old Kent Spong.
Kent Spong, can you tell me what's wrong?
Going. And Native VS, hello to you, Matt Evans, Lady Aptitude, Tony Duncan, Lion Sand, hello sir, from Canada, good to see you. And saw you on Wednesday, dropping by, which was really cool. I think you dropped in on the Clownfest set that I did as well, which is fantastic. Lady Aptitude. Oh, talking about the horn. Now, hang on a second. That's one thing I didn't fire off. Hold on one second. Call up the horn script. Let's see. Let's do this. That should... Sometimes it takes a little bit to come through. Anyway, that should be standing by. I did kind of switch it off during Jamie's show in case some bright spark when kind of donated something during that time. Ollie Linear, hello to you, sir. I'll talk about the show on Wednesday in a second. Jan Setter, Grace Griffin, Epi Mew, loads and loads of people in the chat now. Thank you so, so much. We've got a great guest in Lee Rutter coming on today, who's been on 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's saying it's having trouble streaming to Facebook, but I don't mind so much about Facebook, so let's get rid of that for a second. Never mind, if you're expecting it on Facebook, I should say come over and watch it on YouTube, but you won't be able to hear me, so that's okay. Hopefully you shall find it. What is there to report? Well, all's well with the world in Wiggly Towers. Basically, we had this kind of busy week because Mrs Wiggly disappeared on a yoga retreat. Which is fabulous. I mean, what an opportunity. We're very blessed to be able to do stuff like that. And she had a fabulous time, but she left me and Loullamae to our own devices for the week, which meant kind of getting to school and, all the stuff that Mrs Wiggly does, really. It shouldn't be that hard, but it just made us realise kind of how brilliant she is at what she does and how easy our lives can become. So mixing that with the stuff that I do on top, we coped. I had a terrible cold and a migraine on Sunday when she left, which is terrible, which is why the stream was cancelled last weekend, so sorry about that. And then I developed this cold, which is, you might be able to hear, it's almost kind of gone now. This is the first day where I'm totally back to normal. But yeah, early school starts. And then, obviously we didn't even have to go to school on Monday, so it was really only 4 days. But she's come back. I think quite a lot of washing, to be fair. I didn't get all of that done. I was kind of washing the stuff that needed to be done for the next day. It's a bit like being 19 again, to be honest, in some ways, but with more responsibility. Anyway, she is back. She will be on in a sec when we do our wonderful quiz. We survived. Hazel's wonderful. She's about 3 times the size as she was as a puppy and has found her bark. And she also makes these really, really weird kind of talky noises, almost like a human, which is really, really strange. So it's kind of like... You can't kind of, that's not a bad impression of it, actually. You can't really tell what she's saying, but you know, who can tell? But it is really weird, and it takes you by surprise. It's kind of like, what on earth is that? Is there someone downstairs? So what else is happening? There you go. Thank you so much, BG Ollie. It is working. Thank you so much for the €5, BG Ollie. This is absolutely wonderful of you. Very, very kind. Very much appreciated. Most people here... Thank you, Kent Spong. Migraine Brothers. Yeah, I tell you, the horn does wonders for the migraine. Thank goodness it's gone. Of course, you had a terrible migraine, didn't you? My word. I think Kent Spong had like a 3-day, take him out completely last week, migraine. I watched him on Pro Synth. Was it Pro Synth that you were on? What were you talking about? I think so. Chatting about, kind of that kind of stuff. Mine are not like that. They're pretty kind of full on for up to a day. And to be honest, if I take the medication in time that I've got, it kind of kills it as long as you take it quickly. But Kent Spong, thank you. £50 again is just insanely brilliant. Thank you so much. It all goes to Great Ormond Street Hospital, which hopefully, if you've been here before, you're aware of. If you're new here, we have raised a ton of money for Great Ormond Street Hospital, like a real load of money. I will show you in 1 second how much that is. But if you do a super chat or donation like that, the money goes entirely to Great Ormond Street. We make up the difference that YouTube takes as part of that charity. So you can be very, very happy. If you would like to give on our behalf to Great Ormond Street Hospital directly, go to mrwiggly.co.uk/gosh. Great Ormond Street Hospital, GOSH, Golf Oscar Sierra Hotel, Mr. Wiggly, mrwiggly.co.uk/GOSH. I will run a video shortly of everybody who's donated from the very beginning, which will reveal the current running total, which is pretty damn good, actually. But thank you very, very much to BG Ollie. Go check him out, Banjo Guy Ollie, on Twitch, as many other channels as well. But the most amazing music, the most insanely brilliant cover of Deadmau5 track on authentic old school Irish instruments, which sounds like a disaster, I know, but it is the most brilliant piece of music I've ever heard, is on that channel. And Kent Spong, obviously, is absolutely wonderful and the best synth repair guy. Sounds like I'm putting you down. In the world ever. So hit him up if you have anything that needs repairing, particularly CS80s and that kind of stuff. So thank you very, very much for that. Mrs Wiggly isn't here yet, so the chat is whizzing past at a matter of miles an hour here, so I may miss what's going on, but we will see. Whoa! Someone's charged the battery up. Richard Hilton! My word, thank you so much. $20 from Richard Hilton, who is the nicest, most wonderful man in the music industry, the keyboard player for Chic, and many other talents. I was putting him down to say he's just a keyboard player for Chic. He's absolutely brilliant. What else is happening? Thank you. Sorry, Richard. I just one of the chat just took my mind off what I was talking about. Performance the other day on Clownfest. If anyone's caught Clownfest, it's on now. Don't switch over yet, but it is on for 7 days, 9 days, something crazy, some ridiculous. It's Clownfest 9 and it's on for 7 days. It started a couple of days ago. This is day 3. I was on day 1 around 8 o'clock. You might have caught my set, but I'm actually pretty proud of it. It was a very last minute thing. I will link the performance under here afterwards, but it was kind of somewhere between techno and poetry, I suppose, is the best way to put it. But actually, it came out really well for a change. A lot of Pulsar 23 and vocal and all that kind of stuff. It went down really well. Really happy. And the people who have seen it anyway are pretty up for it, which is really cool. So, but thank you, Richard, for that. Are you back from tour? I'm not sure. You were on tour of the US, in the US with Duran, but I'm presuming that's probably come to an end. Lady Aptitude, you are wonderful. In YouTube, switch it to live chat. Of course, I can't remember what the opposite is. It's like selected chat or best chat or important chat, but it's not the most important chat and it's not the best chat, whatever. You need live chat because basically YouTube filters out the chat that it doesn't think you need. And of course, if you're doing a quiz, which we'll be doing in 20 minutes or so, you should be switched over to the live chat. Otherwise, you're going to miss some of the answers. Thank you. And it just goes without saying, I forget. I'd have a mental block over what they actually call it. But thank you. Top chat. There you go. Richard Hilton and a number of people are explaining to me. What I should do is write it down and stick it on the camera. So I'm going to do that for next time, and I guarantee I'll forget as well. So that was great. So yeah, Clownfest, check it out. Look up clownfest.live is the website. That will give you the links to it. It's out on YouTube. And it's basically all the way through the night from about 5 or 6 in the afternoon until about midnight, 7 days in a row, 20-minute sets, completely varied kind of music. There are different nights, or basically cover slightly different genres, but it is very eclectic. And the brilliant thing about it is that, you know, if there's an act that you don't fancy, or the music isn't to your taste or whatever, it's only on for 20 minutes. There's always something fun happening, and it's really great to support them. So very close to my heart. So check that out. That was really cool, and it fits in with the EMOM stuff really well, to be honest. So let me introduce our wonderful guest of the day, Lee Rutter. Is this going to work?
Hello.
Ooh, that noise has come back. Hey Lee, how are you doing, sir?
No.
How
are you? You all right?
rumbly. Tell us in the chat if you can hear a rumble, because it might just be me. It's not a rumble, it's kind of like a noise.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. Lee, anyway, sorry. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right, thank you.
I know you've had a bit of a busy day.
Every day's busy. Every day's busy. I've got that many things on the go, honestly, with the charity stuff, and then obviously family time, and then everything else. Rich Hilton's here. Rich Hilton's here. Brilliant. I love Rich. He's great.
Rich is absolutely
I love
amazing.
seeing Rich on Sonic Tour.
Yeah, no, he's the nicest guy in the music industry. He really is the nicest guy. I mean,
I feel
just
humble.
amazing.
I feel really humble now. No, Rich is here. Before we go any further, Ollie, I've seen he's there. Pork nuggets. I didn't know they existed either, right? But I told Ollie that I would mention pork nuggets as soon as I come on. So Ollie, pork nuggets just for you. If you haven't found them, go and check them out and tell me what they're like. Sorry, carry on.
Okay, thank you. If that noise is good enough to put up with, just let us know. People are saying they can hear it, but it's probably kind of fine. Try moving that adapter that you had, because I'm sure it's a cable being picked up. If you just move it slightly, it might get slightly better. Wagyu's saying their ears have been trained by synthetic to ignore the noise. Yeah, sort of.
Is that any better?
Right. Not really, but it's
I'm
okay. As
the
long
adapter that you said was slightly better.
Yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it? It's got a mind of its own. All right, well, we'll stick with it. Hopefully no one's going, oh, that noise, it's absolutely terrible. Probably being just picked up on my headphones more than worse. On Wednesday, talking about Ollie Linear, who is in the chat, we did a very serious stream about mental health and antidepressants, and it was kind of a new take on the Wiggly channel, to do something a little bit non-musically related, and something actually quite close to Ollie's heart. If you've seen the stream that we did with Ollie as our guest, he's a very entertaining man who's lived a lot, let's say, and kind of has a lot of experience of some of the darker sides and the upsides of life. So he was talking about his addiction issues and his issues with mental health, and particularly antidepressants. And we found that we were able to kind of talk about this stuff, and I could kind of not be the straight man, but kind of guide the conversation quite nicely. We're having that kind of thing, but it's basically him. So we did a stream on Wednesday, which has gone down extremely well. So we are going to do that again next. Yeah, no problem. We are going to do that again next Wednesday, if you fancy it. So that'll be on at 9 p.m. It's completely unrelated to this side of stuff, but you're very welcome to join us, and it will be on this channel. So hit the notifications button, or hit me a follow or whatever, and it'll be on. It isn't synth related. Having said that, we very rarely talk about synths on this night as well. It's just a little bit more serious.
Quiz on dreading.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I should have said that before you came on, Lee, but because it's nothing to do with this. But give us a bit of your background, Lee. I mean, I know you've been DJing, you've been through synth and electronic music. You're kind of in the box now. You've got a penchant for kind of drum and bass side of music more than anything, I think, and heavy metal, and full-on kind of Ozzy Osbourne as well, which is a great mix. But yeah, give us a how did it all start when you were at school?
Basically,
your love for music.
Yeah, well, basically, when I remember as a kid, it was always very much it was the early 80s, so you had a lot of ska knocking about on the TV and stuff, and you had there's like Sting of the Police, Walking on the Moon, and there's a lot of madness going about, and all the new romantic stuff. And then moving into like the mid-80s was a lot of synthesizer stuff, like from pop bands like Erasure and that. So I picked up on synths really quickly. And stuff like Jean-Michel Jarre, I used to hear quite a lot as well. I saw him in concert, actually. He's really, really good. And so yeah, and like my mum and dad had a record collection that kind of spanned from from Motown to the Beatles and John Lennon and Michael Jackson and all that kind of stuff. So Thriller, I heard a lot of CS80 and that kind of stuff. And I was just mesmerised by the sounds. As I grew up, I started getting into hip-hop really early. I got into hip-hop when I was about like 9. I started listening to Public Enemy, much to my mother's disgust, I think. But I started getting fascinated by samples and that Paul Hardcastle tune, 19, and then there was Mars, Pump Up the Volume. And I just started to get really fascinated by samples and stuff. So I got into hip-hop, and then hip-hop samples in that ended up leading me to like the rave scene and drum and bass and that kind of stuff. I took a bit of a time out, early 98, where I just stopped what I was doing completely. But I'd released a record by that time anyway, so I kind of achieved a little bit of what I wanted to do.
Done what you were heading to do, okay.
Yeah, and then I came back to it in 2010, making stuff that my heart really wasn't in. I was making like progressive house stuff that my heart really wasn't in it at all. And then I came across Stephen Rutter on Facebook actually, purely by chance, playing some type of I think it was a Prophet desktop or something that he had. And we got chatting, obviously, because of the name connection and stuff. And I started listening to his music and realised that actually there is a kind of music out there for me. And since then I've been doing like ambient stuff and like a little bit of techno and electro, drum and bass, heavy techno, smoother ambient techno. And I'm starting to get more into soundscapes. Yeah, I'm starting to use live samples now. There's a procession in Birmingham the other day that I happened to sort of walk into. I don't know what the hell it was, but I suddenly just started recording that. And if I'm out in the street, I'll record preachers and whoever's shouting and going mad and whatever.
Nice.
To try and use and make some textures and stuff out of.
And is that's the MPC I can see sitting behind you? So is that the core of the brain, or are you Mac M1s and all that kind of stuff? Or
I'm M1 now. Before I was just a normal sort of MacBook Pro thing. I've always been Mac. I've used Windows a little bit, but this is set up now with kind of Windows crudely built in. So this, so this REN is effectively a more powerful version of an MPCX, but a lot cheaper.
Gotcha.
And it just has an iPad sitting on the top of it. Which,
great, nice touch.
I suppose the thing is, I just see workarounds. I don't like, an MPCX is £1,200 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that if I can get, if I can have a workaround that doesn't cost anywhere near that much, and it's just something that I can just jump on and do myself, then fair dues, I had the MPC Live 2, and I sold that really quickly because it was like, I paid a lot for that, but I sold it for what I paid it for. And when you think about it, it's just a much less powerful computer in a box.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they are lovely boxes, though. I mean, pricing aside. It does. They are lovely, but they are expensive, as you say. Rich is saying, I wondered if the noise is coming from your mobile. Is that near the stuff? Is it anywhere near your stuff?
It is.
Oh, look at that. It's completely gone away.
No, really?
That is why Richard Hilton is the most amazing man in pop. That is just insanely brilliant. Thank you, Richard Hilton.
Rich Hilton, Rich Hilton, Rich Hilton, Rich Hilton.
My word, the man is just a genius. What a genius.
He is. And what a nice guy as well.
That sounds so much better. I think because we all work in music as well, it's just like the tiniest little clicks drive me nuts as well. It's like when I first
I'm using that as a hotspot, you see, for the Wi-Fi signal.
That is genius.
Because the Wi-Fi signal I get out here is crap.
So moving the cable probably changed it slightly because it was moving it slightly away from the phone. Anyway, Crackle is gone. Richard is a god. Big hearts in the chat room for Richard, please. That is amazing. Let me just run the thank yous, the thank you video for all of the donations, which are just so amazing. We started this in October. The stream itself started well before October, but we started I think we qualified to take super chats in October, so we're about a year in. But anyway, here's a thank you to absolutely everybody who has donated since at least since the October show.
Inside I give thanks and the highest praise. Ground myself to my earth, connect out the space. Within the hallways of the heart, the mind and the state of being that I am as I vibrate. At a rate, oscillate like horse crystal mama may. Earth brother, honor and solidly say namaste. Our heart is the brightest the sun, so we'll let it shine away. Overlap and envelop each other in love and light. Yeah. Simultaneously synchronized this energy, symbiotic and sacred geometry. Contemplate the symmetry and this imagery as we integrate the knowledge this wisdom. See what the symbols mean about it for the temple beat. Where the life force energy resides in the chemistry. Bioelectric being the top and indefinitely receive and perceive to the physical machinery. Conceived by the source, recognize that it blessed be rolling and I can't breathe. Conscious sleeping never hurt me. One love, energy and sexy. Wind your line to the champion sound. Bassman move to the energy. Sunlight burning upon me. One love, set your heart free. Wind your line to the champion sound. Winding time to the champion sound. Winding time. Wind your line to the champion sound. Connect so with the herb pipe, link up the harmonized, left the termite. But beyond obsolete blessings, a birthright. We live a life which a lot more in us all worldwide. Cosmic love, energy, I go herbicide free, organically, me say worthwhile. Watch the way one of you take turn-wise in terms of definitions.
And thank you so much to everyone who's donated. We don't run that video so often because there's now so many people that have donated that it's actually quite a long video. I didn't realize. Thank you so much though. This is the picture of the wiggly horn in the studio. That really is a horn and really does fire off when someone fires in a super chat and blows our ears off. We put some tissue in the top. It's like a big lorry horn type thing, and then it got too much as well, so we kind of covered it with the incinerator from my plugin. So it sits there in the corner at the moment under an incinerator, and that level is what you hear. It's sometimes louder as well if Mrs Wiggly has her headphones on or her mic turned on. It's off at the moment. She has the mic so loud that it kind of really blows, it picks up on the mic and really blows your ears off as well. So anyway, thank you so much. If you saw the end of that video, it will have told you that we hit, let me just see, we raised £130 last stream, which was 2 weeks ago. We have hit £6,794, which is just brilliant. Thank you. And at today's exchange rates, because they're changing pretty rapidly, that is worth $7,377, which is absolutely brilliant. Plus the amazing donations from the wonderful Rich Hilton, Kent Spong, and someone else has already thanked. I'm going to have to whiz back. Thank you so much for that. Richard Hilton's there, Kent Spong's there, and BG Ollie it was. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it's such a pleasure and a privilege. Hey, Fat Dust as well. You're one of the great donators as well. Thank you for doing that. Right. Back to you then just for a second, because we got a quiz coming in 5 or 10 minutes, which is really going to separate the men from the boys here. Obviously, if you haven't done the quiz before, it's top chat, a live chat rather, not top chat. I'm obviously well down with that. I'm kind of interested after the quiz in talking about putting releases together, because you did this amazing charity release, which I think has sold out now. I mean, it really was. It's more than just that as well. It's beautifully packaged, but it comes with a poster, little print, and it's really beautifully put together.
Thank you.
Raising money for a really good cause, and that's first of a series of 4. So, I mean, if people are interested, obviously they can jump on the next of the series. But I was really interested in really the process of how you put something like that together. I've never independently released anything like that for charity, and the hoops. I presume that you're new to it as well. Yeah. How did you even begin?
I was just cheeky. I was just absolutely cheeky. I got to be honest. First of all, I will donate to that Great Ormond Street. By the way,
you being on is is very much fun. Don't worry about that.
I was just cheeky, and I started getting in touch with people and just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this project. Do you want to put a track in? It'd be really great to have you on board, and no worries if you don't want to be involved in it." And thankfully, the vast majority of people that I spoke to were really, really receptive to it and provided a track. Some people provided more than one. But, there's people on there like Michael Wells, GTO. Do you know what I mean? Real legends. Fat Controller's on there. And it was really important for me. Alex Hazard, who used to work with Ron Wells, who I did an interview with. That's on my YouTube channel, the Noise Appreciation Crew channel. I did an interview with him in Portugal.
Yeah, Ron Wells actually. I was just going to say, because Adamski, the amazing Adamski, obviously he's been on here as well. Check him out, just brilliant. Was saying he just watched the Ron Wells. I think your musical tastes are quite similar, and he was saying in the chat that it was an amazing interview. I haven't watched it actually myself, so yeah, really enjoyed it.
It's just like having a chat over a beer. To be honest.
Like this.
Yeah, except I've got a terrifying quiz in a minute.
Oh yeah, it is a quiz that no one can actually answer without guessing though, and it's ungoogleable, so it really isn't a problem if you don't get any points.
But it was it was important to. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to ask about the process of doing this. You're obviously the first thing is getting the tracks, and people were that receptive. Basically,
people were really, really good, and I'm truly. I've said it a million times on Facebook before, but I'm truly humbled by the support it's got and how well received it was for people wanting to contribute, and I'm still getting contributions now. Do you know what I mean? For the future projects, Volume 2 is basically done. I've started on Volume 3. Volume 2 is coming for Christmas with a big raffle. I've got loads of vinyl and CDs and limited edition things and T-shirts and all sorts that people have donated. So I'll say shout out to Clinton from VNR, Violet Nights Recordings, for that, because he's donated some stuff. Alvin Bull's donated a lot of stuff. Futuregrapher, Motum 7 record label, who I've got to say a big thank you for, because yeah, he's happy on the inside, isn't he? He's a lovely bloke, I promise. He's a lovely bloke. But people who, Arnie, Futuregrapher, he has a label called Motum 7, and I've got to say thank you so much to him, because he took a chance on me when I came out putting my music out the second time around, and it got cut on record, and it was a proper release, not just a promo, which I hadn't done before, and I'm so grateful to him. He's doing all the mastering for it as well.
Wow.
So he masters all the tracks, and nobody wants anything for it. It's amazing the amount of support it's got. But I was just being cheeky, and I'd just email these people and say that to them, and then I had a bit of help from Martin Bolton from Touch Music, who, as people probably know, does a lot of stuff for charity. Touch Music, he's basically a label do stuff for charity. So who better to ask than him?
Ah, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've got a history and a knowledge of that. Right.
That's why the catalogue number is TMFC01, Touch Music Firefighter Charity 01. The next ones are going to be NAC. They're going to be Noise Appreciation Crew. But I'll be putting those out myself. He's had to hand it over to me because he's got his own projects on now. And that's fine. I've got more control over it.
And you've done one, so I guess you know a little bit more about the ins and outs of the whole thing.
Yeah, a little bit. It's going to be vinyl next. It's CD for this charity project, and then I'm doing my own projects with CD and vinyl and cassette. So I'm finally getting to where I want to be.
And that's Noise Appreciation Crew. So that's your operation where your music goes out underneath that moniker. So once you've found and got all the artists and the tracks lined up, you take it to a mastering process. You put the CD together, and then what's the actual process? What a touch music taking it over from then and doing everything. I mean, the actual. Do you need to partner with a label like that? Is really my answer. What can people do if they want to put out a charity release like that? You
don't need to partner with anyone, but it's about who. First of all, it's about who's going to give you the help, because I didn't know what I was doing, and Marty was very helpful, and he gave me some contacts, and those contacts are now my contacts, and it was I'm very, very picky, so I was very picky with the girl at the pressing plant, and we got through it, and I was very picky over the artwork as well, because I specifically wanted the Pheonix to be like a heart shape with the wings.
Right.
I'm doing backwards here for me, and it's so like sort of cradling him. Do you know what I mean? And it's this is my friend Stu, who sadly died of cancer, and I had to do something for him because he was such a lovely bloke and a formidable person, and he went and did the Brecon Beacons 10 Peaks Challenge with stage 4 cancer.
Oh,
with his firefighter buddies, and they raised over 12 grand for the firefighters charity.
Oh, that's incredible.
And he helped me out in the past, and he was a good mate, and I couldn't, I was in tears when I learned obviously what had happened to him, and you know, it's set me off a few times, to be honest, because he was one of life's good guys, you know.
Yeah.
He'd do anything for anybody.
Well, it's a wonderful thing that you're doing on his behalf.
Cheers.
But yeah, it's such a sad thing to do. I mean, it's brilliant that it's been supported in such a good way, and that is the first of many. So you know, we'll come back and talk about that in a second. What a wonderful guy.
Oh no, she's here. The quiz is going to start. Hello, Loullamae.
Loullamae has walked into the room. Hello. Here she is. Now we should be able to. We should be able to get you on stream. It's been away for a day. I can't tell you. I'm not sure if I can tell you where she's been yet. It's probably one of the questions, but let's see how it goes. There's no cable. Oh no. There you go. It is there. Is Mrs Wiggly behind us? Yeah. Hold on. Add to the stream. Now I need to plug Mrs Wiggly in. Can you plug and push the red button there? Well, Mrs Wiggly sounds really loud.
Hi.
Are you there, Mrs Wiggly?
I am.
Yeah, that's working.
Hello, Mrs Wiggly. Hello, Loullamae.
Hello there, Lee. How are you?
Not working.
I'm all right, are you?
Good. Not too bad, thank you.
I'm dreading this. I've told him already.
Oh,
I'm dreading
dear,
this.
you'll be fine.
What number am I thinking of? 4. No, it was 6.
What?
Yeah, there we go.
You'll be fine.
Are you there, Loullamae? Just check your mic again. Where do you need to go? Okay. Let me just put some music on while we're sorting this little kind of stuff out. Let's get your cameras open. Look at this. It's almost organised today. Jim Glue the horn didn't go off. Jim Glue, thank you so much, my fellow guest.
Oh, that's really loud.
Worse
Do you remember what I said about the volume of Mrs Wiggly's microphone? That is the difference between. Oh man.
Yeah, I shouldn't really be listening to anything that loud, especially now.
No. I'll turn your mic down a bit, but can you pull your mic a bit closer to your mouth then?
Yeah.
Try that.
Hello?
Oh, Jim's saying Mrs Wiggly's mic is very loud anyway.
It's very loud. Way too loud.
Count to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is that still super loud?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure if I can turn it down any further. All right, let's try that. Let's try that and see what happens. Wagyu!
I know I'm noise appreciation crew, but I don't appreciate every noise.
Wagyu! It had to be Wagyu, didn't it? All right. Well, it's good. It's for charity. It's for charity. Thank you so
Anything
much.
for charity is good.
Oh, wow. I'm not sure if I can turn it down. Are you okay there, Mrs Wiggly?
Yeah, what if I just lean back a bit?
No, it's the noise of the horn. On
Oh.
it doesn't matter about that. Hang on. If I just scrabble around under the desk a minute.
Make the horn quiet.
Oh, actually, the incinerator isn't over it.
That's why.
All right.
That's why it's loud.
Well, yes. That's why it's louder. All right, I've put the incinerator over it. I didn't realise it was on. That picture was from an old... right, okay. All right, everybody, how are we all doing? Are you ready, Mrs Wiggly?
Yeah.
You ready, Loullamae?
Yeah.
How's Hazel?
Good.
Good. Well, that is good indeed. Right, everybody in the chat. Minus 10 points for Wagyu, says Keith in Watford. Harmon mutes. Look into it, says Lady Aptitude. Okay. Actually, I'm going to turn Mrs Wiggly down even further. Just hold on. Because I can hear you breathing.
Well, yeah.
Charming.
It was all part of, well, I'm not going to say anything because it could be related to the show, but breathing was a big thing last week.
Just speak a second, sorry, I missed that. Just say anything.
I said I'm not going
That's
to
all
say
right.
anything on the show just in case I give it away, but breathing was a big part of my life last week.
Yes. Right. Oh, Ms Wiggly, the questions are on the printer. Yes,
Me
I
and
don't.
Mummy are matching.
Are you? Oh, check that. That's lovely. Okay, we'll see what Mummy's wearing on the way back then. That's fantastic. Oh! That's
Better.
bearable. Andrew Brooks, thank you so much. That's the incinerator muffler plug-in that we're using. Thank you so much.
My face is shiny on
Oh,
camera.
it is, isn't it?
It don't look as bad as mine.
It is quite shiny, isn't it? We should have done.
Shiny.
We should have done the pre-show makeup.
No, I just do it.
Did you? But
No, on my thing.
I've got a picture of that. I have a picture of that. Oh, thank you, Mrs Wiggly. There you go. All right, everybody in the chat. Most of you have probably been here before, I hope. This is Loullamae's quiz in raising money for Great Ormond Street. All her questions. Lee will get an advantage because he has a kind of a few seconds with the delay that goes on with YouTube and the chat. So he has a few seconds advantage to get the right. He probably won't. I don't think any of these are Googleable. Well, you're not allowed to Google, but I think they're all pretty Google proof.
Maybe that one might be Googleable.
Yeah, well, don't Google because that would be cheating. Wagyu has a series of cameras installed in our house, we believe, because he's kind of knows stuff about us that we don't know. But yeah, apart from that, but we know he's got a Shiba Inu, a dog, and we don't. He doesn't know how we know that. But yeah, bang out the answers into the chat.
T-shirts.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah,
Oh
I just
wow,
noticed.
is that Pasha?
Pasha, isn't it?
yeah,
Oh, look at you, Ibiza babes. Fantastic.
matching.
Straight up from Pasha. Brilliant. Wagyu says he's been living in our loft for the past 2 years.
That way you've
It
been
would make
living.
sense. There's
Not
that
in the
film.
cellar.
There was that film where that guy lived upstairs. There was a real life thing about a guy living in someone's cellar, and he used to come out at night. Not in a horror movie where he literally lived in the cellar and went to work overnight and stuff. Anyway, don't let that freak you out. Right. Make sure you are looking at live chat, not top chat. And I finally got it right for the first time. We are going to do the quiz. So, are you ready, Mrs Wiggly?
Uh-huh.
Are you ready, Loullamae?
Yeah.
Are you ready, Lee?
No. Let's just carry on.
What theme of badges did I get this weekend at Guides?
What theme of badges? Theme of badges. So, what badge? You got a number of badges.
Badges.
Yeah,
What is it, badges?
guide camp.
Badges.
No, it wasn't badges.
I've already got a puppy, so I want more pets.
Camping.
No, that's a good guess though. Kite
no.
making, astronomy, fire lighting, crochet.
Maps.
No. Oh, I think you've got them.
It's something very important.
It is very important. Cheese making, that's important, says Jack.
Cleaning.
Oh dear,
Clean.
I can only hear out of
I
one
wish it was
ear.
cleaning.
Oh dear.
My headphones, I can only hear. It was fine, but I can hear only out of one ear. Now it's glitchy.
Now it's glitchy.
Yeah,
Okay, how's that?
Oh, well done.
Better.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Better.
copy then.
I think.
Dog walking, environment, yogurt making. I can't believe nuclear fusion.
Jen Setter got
Oh,
it.
Jen
Yeah.
Setter, Jen Setter, where's she gone? Yes, Jen
Hooray.
Setter, well done. First aid. First aid.
And there's a bonus
The
question.
bonus question. I
Well
think
done,
it
Jen.
deserves a little question.
How many first aid badges did I get? How many badges did I
4,
get? No.
Oh,
5.
You can have another.
Yeah!
there you
The only one I'll get right.
Just in time. That was just in time before. Who got the 5 first in the chat? No?
Azio Head,
Head.
yeah.
Azio Head gets a.
go. Does
I
he
can
get a point?
cheat on this because I can see what they're writing. When I haven't got an idea, I can choose theirs.
You could, but
I
it's
won't do
usually
that, though.
too late. You'd be too late by that stage, I'm afraid. You could try, though, but Mrs Wiggly's very hot.
No,
on
I'm not going to
cheaters.
cheat. I'm not going to
She
cheat.
doesn't let anything get through, to be honest. Azio Head, I've always wondered if you're called Azio Head or Azio Head or actually Asio Head. I'm not quite sure how you could phonetically put that in the chat, but I'd love to know. I'm thinking it's Azio Head. Yeah, Bob Van Hoove was very, very close with the latest Azio drivers. You saw Wagyu first. Did Wagyu get it first?
I didn't see Wagyu.
Oh,
course
my
it was
word. Of course
Wagyu.
it was Wagyu. Hang on, let's have a look.
Missed Wagyu.
Wagyu did hydroelectric power
Oh, Wagyu
generating.
did get it.
Did he?
Wagyu, yes.
See, Rich again.
Yeah. There you go,
You
Wagyu.
seriously?
Yeah, Wagyu got
Which is
it.
Green
That's it,
energy?
Number 5.
Where?
Oh, okay.
Just above Azio Head.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah,
my
so, yeah,
goodness. I can't
Azio.
even find it in the
Wagyu
chat
got
rollback,
one.
but... Okay, I'm so sorry, Azio Head. That's a boo to Azio Head. And a hooray to Wagyu.
That'll be
Fine
an
line.
interesting one.
Fine line between the boos and the hoorays on those jingles, actually. He guessed it right first time. Ooh, that's Wagyu being very generous for a quiz. Very good, very good. All right, well, Mrs. Wiggly, that's in your court, really, to decide.
Who guessed it first?
Wagyu was first, but it wasn't his first guess. But we wouldn't normally.
No, but I
Mind
mean,
about that, would we?
you did get the 5 first, so I will give you that point.
All right. So, what are the scores looking like?
So we have Jane Setter with 1, Lee with 1, and Wagyu with 1.
Excellent.
As a part of my first aid course, what type of animal bit me on the arm?
Oh, yes.
Badger.
Good question.
No.
Nope. Oh, I've got a picture somewhere.
Cat.
No.
What was that? Mouse. Dog.
No.
It's a kind of dog.
Kind of.
Fox.
No. It's kind of like a
There's
type of
lots
dog.
of rabbits, mice, squirrels, spiders, foxes,
Bear.
bears, rats. None of wasps.
Human.
None of them so far.
Oh, someone's close.
Oh, okay. Depends if you want to allow that. It's
I've got Jim Blue with.
Jim Glue's got wolf, which is
Yeah.
very close.
Did somebody get it before?
No, because it's more than a wolf.
Oh, yeah. So.
Werewolf.
Anyone can take it.
Lady-
Yes!
Who got it?
They got it.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah.
There you go, 2 points.
Who?
I
So
will.
you're in the lead with 2 points.
You get the
I will
point for
give
that.
Jim
I'm going to
half.
say, give Jim a point as well.
Yeah, because he's a wolf.
It was a werewolf, and if
Oh,
I
I got it right
can-
then.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
sorry. Somebody put Timberwolf. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, that is quite good. If I can share this, I have a picture of the wolf. There you go. that's the nicest picture of the wolf I could actually find. Now, if I do this, if you're squeamish, this is makeup, all right? It's not real, but if you're squeamish about wounds, don't look away now, because this is the makeup that Loullamae did on her arm to show her having
Nobody helped me. It was just me.
Nobody helped her at all. That's what it looked like.
That's awesome.
And she came home basically with that and walked to the car and said, you know, oh, I've hurt my arm.
And we went,
so then we went straight round to Nanan's house and asked if she'd got any Savlon, and she nearly had a heart attack.
That's
amazing
awesome,
work.
mate.
Amazing work. So you should have got a badge for that, really. Right. Are we ready with the next one?
Yeah.
Do you reckon? Okay, stand by. Let me get rid of that for a second. And hit the old jingle button. Stand by, chat. Here we go.
What type of yoga did Mummy do on Tuesday?
What type of yoga did Mummy do on Tuesday?
Calisthenics.
No, but I mean, you'd need a point for knowing a yoga thing. This is more than I did.
I don't know anymore.
Ow, says Paul. Oh, ow, that must have been about the wound, not the yoga.
Oh, what's that?
Meditative yoga, hot yoga. That's the only kind of yoga. Tantric yoga, water yoga.
I can't think of the name of it. I know.
It's not water yoga?
it is, but what's the name of it?
Okay, so it does involve water. I reckon half a point for Tony Duncan.
Aqua yoga.
Aqua,
no.
no.
Have the whole name.
Vinyasa, says Waggo. I mean, that's just on fire.
They know their yoga.
Jazz tantric, hatha, tantric, hot, kundalini. That sounds like a pasta. Mother Fruit Corners, his own growing. I mean, he's onto something there. It does involve water, and she was in Ibiza. Aqua is, yeah, I mean, first one to get Aqua should get a point, I think, but...
No, you
No?
can't. You've
All
gotta
right, fair
have the
enough.
name, though. Come on.
Disco yoga, I like that.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Do you reckon they're going to get this? We'll run the...
I
Oh,
thought
not
it was
that one.
quite.
We'll run that.
I thought it was quite popular.
Hydra is a good word. Pork nuggets.
Oh, Ollie. I was waiting for a question to say pork nuggets.
There's an in-pork nugget joke going on. Beach yoga. Pretty close, I'd say. Wet yoga. What else do you do in the sea?
It involves a prop.
In the sea when it's really rough.
Yeah, what do you do with waves?
Surf yoga. Wagyu. Oh my goodness.
Wagyu got it! Oh no, that wasn't Wagyu. It's
no,
off.
it was Wagyu
Yes,
got it.
well done.
Surf yoga.
Well done, Wagyu. It's actually
Very well done.
sup yoga. Surf up yoga.
Surf up yoga. Sup.
Yeah, sup.
Very cool. Well done. So that puts Wagyu in the lead,
Well
I'm
done,
guessing.
Wagyu.
What are the
No,
scores on the
it's a draw,
doors?
Lee and Wagyu. Draw,
Lee.
Lee, Wagyu. Yeah, get 2 points each.
You're on fire, Lee. This is
James
more than most
Setter
people
one,
get.
and
That's
Jim
a
Blue's
turn-off.
got one.
Wow. Well, you might get top of the leaderboard at this rate. Do you remember who's top? Wagyu, obviously, for the chat. I can't remember the
No,
guest
we'll have
who's
to
top. We'll have to go
have a
back
look.
and check them out.
We always say this every week. So, no, we'll have to
Maybe I
look at the
will.
leaderboard.
It just means going back over 63 episodes and writing down every single one. Well, maybe 62, because there wasn't. Well, you did have a question in the very first episode, but you didn't appear in it.
No, I didn't come.
And the second one, I think, was the first time you turned up.
No, the
Oh,
third.
was it the third?
I think.
Oh, so 60 then. 60 episodes to go. Okay.
What new sport am I starting in January?
At school in January.
Trampolining.
Nope.
Gymnastics. Martial arts.
Nope. Very good guesses, though. Polo.
Darts.
Wagyu.
Yeah, Wagyu. Oh my goodness, Wagyu. He is on fire.
That is ridiculous. I mean, we only literally found out yesterday. Maybe Wagyu knew before us.
Maybe Wagyu got in contact with his school.
Hello,
Put it on the curriculum.
It's Mr. Wiggly. I mean, Mr. Hawk. Oh, man. What did Richard say? He's got a hotline to somewhere. He's definitely living upstairs. He's got a direct line. Yeah. Got a direct line to Wagyu. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So is that 3 points to Wagyu then?
3 to Wagyu, yeah. 2
Kicking
to
the
Come
badger.
on, Lee.
Kicking the badger is not a
I know.
sport. Native VS. You should know that by now. Wagyu is a bot. I think
See you at parents' evening.
Very good. All right. How many questions we got going now? We've got about 3 left, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Stand on by. Here we go.
And a question.
And a bonus question.
Yeah. What's the name of the jigsaw we're doing?
Oh, good question. It should be easy, Lee.
Really?
What's the name of the jigsaw we're doing?
Is it one of the world?
No.
Is it a normal one or like one in like a ball or like a tower?
Oh, it's a normal, flat,
Oh, okay.
old school cardboard jigsaw.
Muppets. Oh no, I'm going back to the 80s now. Isn't it?
Lady
What's popular
Aptitude
with kids
wants
these
to know
days?
what, so...
Lady Aptitude wants.
No.
Oh, did you not hear? What is the name? What is the name of the jigsaw that we're currently doing?
Jigsaw.
A jigsaw
Pork
is the same in the
nuggets.
US, right? Do you have jigsaws in the US? You know, lots of pieces put together to make a picture. Different shapes cut out of them. Pork nuggets is not the right answer. It's not puppies. It's not baked beans. It's not Her Majesty, deceased. It's not Will Smith's greatest hits, Adamski. Dogs in the Window, The Last Supper. There's a vague clue. As Your Head is a Unicorn, good guess, but not right. It's sort of Kent related, I suppose, but that's a bit of an in.
Yeah, but you
an
kind of
in
need
joke.
to know, Kent.
Yeah,
No,
it's been discussed before. Wallace and Gromit, no. A Moog 1, that did probably sell more jigsaws.
Wagyu's already put CS80. I can't have that one.
Yeah. It's not Hans Zimmer, it's not a Mustang, it's not a dog. It is a thing rather than a person.
It has a dog in it.
It does have a dog in there, that's true, Lady Aptitude. If no one else gets it, you should have half a point.
Yeah.
Horse William Wallace. That's a nice idea.
Tintin.
Wombles.
Famous
What?
5. I don't know.
Do you think you've we're going to
It's
call
a
it
thing rather than a person.
person,
or
yeah, it's definitely a
pet or
thing.
something. It's a thing.
All right, let's
It's a dog.
see. Let me just see if I can. We'll call it after. Let's have a look. I'll run this. We're running out. Think of Kent. Kent might be able to get this because he has one. Dog Bones, Doghouse.
I've got no idea.
Doghouse is close. Yeehaw. It's a jigsaw of an automatic dog feeder, says Wagyu.
Hey? I thought that was the answer.
Every now and then he drops one in that makes me realise he doesn't live in our house. A Mustang. No.
Workshop is kind of
Where's that? Who put that?
Culture of Ghosts.
Culture of Ghosts, I think, should have it. For that.
Lady Aptitude Shed.
Shed. That's the one.
That's the
Where has
one.
she gone?
Lady Aptitude, I'm going to give her a point for that. But what
I
type
can't
of it?
see. Lady Aptitude says Shed.
Shed.
Yes. I think Culture of Ghosts should definitely get half a point at least because yeah, they're kind of a similar thing. It's a shed, as in Kent Spong's shed. And it's a weird. It doesn't sound that interesting a jigsaw when you put it like that, does it? But it's pretty good. Oh, maybe it's just me.
Oh, kids. You
Oh dear.
gotta love them, yeah.
Do you think it's a good jigsaw?
What?
Is it a good jigsaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
You don't have
taking
to
up
say that.
half of the dining room table. I don't think it's a good jigsaw.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a
well,
big jigsaw.
it's a
It's
big
a big
jigsaw, which
jigsaw.
leads us on nicely to our next bonus question.
How many pieces does it have?
Oh, good question.
5,000.
No.
3,000.
Nope.
2,000.
Nope.
Nope.
10,000.
Nope.
Nope.
1,000.
Yeah!
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Azio Head.
Azio Head.
Oh no!
He's got one. And
Azio
Oh,
Head
I'll
was
get the point as well. I just thought.
milliseconds before Wagyu
yeah, I'm going to give it to Azio Head because he's
in the R end. I'm not sure what it looks like to you, but
I've got Azio Head down.
yeah. And Dr. Synth was milliseconds behind Wagyu, so obviously there's a lot of 1,000-piece jigsaws around. Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, I can only give 1 point.
Okay.
That's gonna
All right,
go
well,
to
you
Azio
are in charge, so that's all cool. Okay, scores on the doors,
Oh
please.
my goodness, it's still a draw between Lee and Wagyu with 3 points.
No.
Then we have Jane Setter with 1 point, Jim Glue with 1 point, Lady Aptitude 1 point, Azio Head 1 point, and Culture of Ghosts half a point. Okay.
It's smooth jazz. Oh, yeah. All right, you ready for the next? Do we have another question?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is just a jokey one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the backup question?
What
there's
about
definitely a time.
jokey?
Jokey can come after backup. You reckon? I think because we definitely got time for one more
Yeah.
question as the extra. All right. Oh,
Ellie.
Ellie?
Ellie.
Oh, this one. That's the Ellie button. Okay. I've lost my way. Hang on. Not for the first time.
What did we have for pudding today?
Good
Chocolate
question.
Sponge.
No.
Jam roly-poly.
No.
No.
Oh, something with custard.
Well, what did we have for pudding? If anyone missed that today?
Something with ice cream.
No. We had a
Yeah, I had it with ice
Yeah.
cream. Wait, no, I didn't have it.
no.
Profiteroles.
No. We had a chicken,
Right.
a roast chicken. Okay, they're all coming in here. We've got custard pavlova.
Oh, sticky toffee,
semolina-
Jim
Jim
Glue
Glue!
got it.
Amazing.
Can I come round to your house for tea, Mrs Wiggly? This sounds awesome.
It was good, actually, I have to say. Although, we didn't make the sticky toffee pudding. We roasted the chicken, didn't we? But
I didn't roast it.
I think Mr. Sainsbury's made the...
No, it was actually Mr. Mark.
Mr. Marks and his
Mrs.
his partner,
Spencer.
Mrs. Spencer, made them.
Yeah.
Well, they were. I can vouch for them.
Mr. Mark.
Definitely vouch for them.
Time for joke.
Okay. All right. So, if this is the last joke question, then who's going to win? Who's 1 point away from the lead or in the lead
So,
now?
well, it's a tie between Lee and Wagyu with 3 points.
No.
And Jim, or unless Jim wants to catch up, he's got 2.
Oh my word! This is going to be
Tense.
close then.
Jim Glue could catch up
'Cause I
and make it 3.
think Mrs. Wiggly got this joke, so I think it's gettable, whereas most of them have not
What are
been
you trying to say?
gettable. I'm saying it's a really hard but gettable joke. I'm not saying it's an easy one by any means. I'm just saying it's rare for any of us to know the answer unless we knew the joke. That's very noisy. Your paper instrument down there. Right. Are we ready? Okay, so it's all
Come
hanging
on,
on this
let's do
one.
it.
Get ready, Wagyu. Get ready, Lee. You've done really well, Lee. I know you were worried about this one, but honestly, you're there.
How did trees communicate?
How do trees communicate?
Branch out.
No.
Telephone. Telephone.
No, very good though.
They
That was
bark.
the wrong button. They bark.
Bark, bark, bark.
I sing got it. I sing got it. I sing and Lee got it.
I sing.
I sing and Lee got it
Did Lee get it as
simultaneously.
well?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
Because that
okay.
came in. Did you see it in the chat first, or did you get it, Lee?
No, I swear I didn't.
No,
Honestly.
that's fine. That's fine. That's no problem. I think it came in after that anyway. Wagyu was in there with bark as well, but unfortunately.
Could only give 1
Oh
point.
yeah, I sing. Jim Glue said they ring each other. Homegrown said they bark at each other. He was the second one in. Paul Talbot said he's so old. Bob Van Hoove said via bees, which is an interesting concept. I like that. Trees communicate via bees. Yeah. I wish that was true. And then Wagyu got his bark in, but unfortunately,
No, we cannot give it to
only
icing, I
1
think.
point. So let's go back for the final scores. Actually, should we have a bit of trumpet jazz?
No,
The other one? That one. Okay, let's come back with Mrs. Wiggly in the room. And Mrs. Wiggly, what's the final scores, please?
Right, so our final scores is we have the winner with 4 points. It's Lee. Wagyu with 3 points.
No.
Jim Blue, 2 points. Jane Setter 1. Lady Aptitude 1. Azurhead 1. Icing 1. And Culture of Ghosts have a half a point.
Thank you so much, everybody.
There you go.
So you actually
Didn't have
won
to
the
worry
quiz,
about
Lee.
that.
Amazing.
Did it?
I didn't have to cheat either.
No. I'm shocked.
Am I?
Absolutely shocked. Oh, yeah. Jim Blue says his answer was better. It's not
right.
competitive at all. Have you met Ty?
Get Jim, Ty, and who else?
Oh, my word. That was
Because I won
epic.
that quiz, I'm going to double what I'm going to donate to Great Ormond Street next week.
Oh, bless you.
I can't do it at the minute because I don't bring my phone too close to the mic.
Thank
So
you.
I'll do
Thank
it
you
next week.
so much. And also, simultaneously, Simon Greatbatch has just given £10 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's absolutely brilliant. All going to Great Ormond Street.
kind.
Yeah, Loullamae, you've got a T-shirt. They sent you a T-shirt and a poster to say thank you as well, didn't they? Because you were
Awesome.
honestly one of the top raisers because it's consistent every week. They really love it. So really
Well
good.
done,
Thank you.
Loullamae.
Thank you so much. Absolutely brilliant. Now, unfortunately, there's no big questions. Have you got any big questions, Mrs. Wiggly?
No, I must admit, I'm a bit too zenned out.
Wiped out. Yeah, it's like the yoga, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still in my zone.
Anyone want to know anything about the yoga? Bang it in the chat quick.
No.
Oh, we're live on CF9. My word. How fantastic is this? So Clownfest 9 is running as we speak. Hello to everyone in Clownfest.
Hello, Clownfest.
It is an amazing opportunity. You've just missed the quiz. I don't know if you caught the last one. We were just about to talk about Mrs. Wiggly's yoga before going back to talk a little bit more about music. But thank you for joining us. A bit like a raid on Twitch, which is really cool. So that's really, 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 really cool. We don't even have any spare questions, do we? That's a shame.
I'm glad it's not a two-way thing because
I'll tell you
I'm
what.
terrified of clowns. Genuinely, I've got a genuine fear of clowns, honestly.
Really?
Coulrophobia or something like that. Johnny Depp's got it.
Oh, do you know what? We've just clashed with Inky on CF9. How terrible is that? So we're going to have to broadcast Inky's CF9 set next week on this show. I wondered where she was. I didn't know that they'd put her on at the same time as us because Inky is our moderator of our dreams, basically. But how fantastic. I hope it went well. I'll catch it on repeat and we'll all go over there and I will post a link to Inky's set under here when we're done. But thank you very much indeed. All right, so should we say a big goodbye from Loullamae and Mrs. Wiggly? Mrs.
Yeah.
Chilled, I think we'll call you. Mrs. Chilled out Zen core kind of like. I mean,
Yeah.
a bit of jazz. Let's put a bit of jazz on. We like that jazz. All right, so it's goodbye from Loullamae.
Bye
Bye,
bye,
Loullamae.
guys.
Bye
Goodbye,
from
Mrs.
Bye.
Wiggly.
Give Mrs. Wiggly
See
a
you
big
next
hug.
week. Have a good week.
Absolutely.
everyone.
And
We're going to
you.
have a massive hug
Yep.
is about to occur.
Ooh. Oh, we've got our cherries on.
Good night. Well, yeah, Pasha, there you go. All ready for Clownfest. The Pasha,
Yeah,
the
we're
Pasha
ready.
girls in
We've
full
all been
effect.
seen.
Thank you so much for the quiz. Good night to both of you.
Bye.
All right, so let's get back. I don't know if we're going to stay with us for very long. I presume we're filling a gap and someone's running late or something, but thank you for that. See you in a minute, girls. What I'll do is I'm going to play one of your tunes, I think, Lee, just so that people can get
cheers.
a good idea of what we're actually talking about. And then we can go and talk a little bit more about how you made them, what the gear you've got and all that kind of stuff that people kind of love to hear. So let me find, first of all, it'll just take me a couple of seconds to find the link and get it working. So just 1 second. It's a shame if they joined us for the quiz. That would have been epic. So
Yeah.
I've
How cool.
got...
Clownfest.
Yeah, brilliant. I've got Urban Space, which I thought was pretty epic.
Okay, that's probably the one I don't like.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but carry on. It's fine.
It's ace actually. All right, this is
Thank you.
no video to this. This is on Lee's Bandcamp page, which is Noise Appreciation Crew. I'll put the links in the chat, yeah, we'll take it from there. But this is great. I'm loving it. So speak to you in a moment.
Thank you.
Free dance music heaven, says Portal. Yeah, it does take me back to that. Tell me something about this track then. What went into this? Because it's it's about a year old.
No, it's not that old, I don't think. But thank you for the comments. I would reply to them, but I don't know how to on it. But yeah, really, thank you for the comments, because out of all the tracks I've done, this is probably the one that I'm least satisfied with recently.
How weird.
But you know, as producers, we rarely are fully satisfied with our work, are we? We always think that we could do more or do better, and I was quite pleased with the drums and the drum programming.
Yeah.
Because there's some little shakes in there that I haven't heard people repeat on that much for a good number of years, so it's nice to kind of bring that back a little bit. But that's always the case. Yeah, David, absolutely. Yeah, cheers. It's true.
Just saying,
yeah,
dig,
for
the,
me,
dig the crashes. Just comments coming out if you're listening afterwards. Lots of lovely comments in the chat coming on. Yeah.
But this one, the thing is, there's so many ways that you can make an aim and break work. Excuse me. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it, and I tend to use Ableton in a way that is kind of how it was meant to be used, but also in a way that is completely different. So I won't use a range view, for example, in an arrange to arrange the track. Now, most people just go linear, don't they, and just start cut and paste. I won't do that. I'll use the arrangement portion of the track to edit drum breaks.
Okay.
So when I get a drum break, I'll Command C out of session view, tab to go into arrange view, and then Command V and paste it down. And then from there, I'll start snipping out and rearranging. And then the commands that I use mostly in Ableton are Command C, Command V, so copy paste, Command E and Command J, which are copy paste, split and consolidate. And I use those an awful lot. And then what I'll do is I'll make my edits in the arrangement view, and then put them all back together, consolidate them, and then bring them back as a brand new drum break, a brand new drum arrangement into session view, and that's what I'll do.
Nice.
And there's a lot of stuff you can do as well with Ormond, like follow actions and stuff. But
yes.
I tend to use the follow action mentality, if you like, but without actually using follow actions.
Right.
Because when I try and program follow actions, I don't know if it's because I'm dyslexic or what, but I don't kind of I know what to do, but my brain doesn't really compute it very well. So what I do is I have one way of doing it. I mean, I do the drums all sorts of different ways, but one way that I do is I have, say for example, I've got an Amon. I'll take an Amon and I'll duplicate it all the way down the session view. Excuse me. And then what I'll do is I will put the start point of that Amon at various transients. So for example, the snare, the cymbal, the shake, whatever. Yeah. And then I will literally just, and it's on one of my videos on my Facebook page, actually, I'm just sort of playing around with it, and you can see me doing this for a new drum and bass track I'm doing. And I literally just start clicking them off. I know which ones are where, because I label them all up, generally speaking, or I can tell by sight which ones I've put. And I'll just start clicking them off one way, just randomly. And I'll record that into the timeline, and then I've got some parts that sound really good, some parts that sound really crap. Right. And then what I'll do is I'll take the crap parts out and then just re-edit it again in the arrangement view, splice it together, consolidate it, Command C, Command V, back into the session view, and then I'll build the track then from session view and just hit record.
There's so many different ways of working with this stuff. That's why it's so brilliant, because I still think in a linear left to right a range view style way, like a Logic. Logic's just added their kind of clip view, which is a little bit like the launch view in Ableton, but I can't get any further than jamming ideas, which I then would pretty much what you've described actually, but I would do it in the clip view. Just firing stuff off until I got something. But if I'm laying out a track, I almost have to have the bigger picture there in front of me to see, to fill the space, and then insert things into it. One of the things I did find in Ableton really neat actually was I think it's in, I can't remember the combination of stuff I used, but basically if you put a break sample in Simpler, so you've got a 1-bar loop in Simpler, you can get it to fire off in, if you divide it into 16 bits, you can randomly fire off any one of those 16 chunks. And so you
Which is
kind
very
of
similar to follow actions.
exactly. So
Yeah.
so rather than randomly chopping them out, you can almost set this thing running and record it, and then go, that was a great bit, that was a great bit, or whatever. And I never used it for breaks. Well, I did use it for kind of percussion sounds and random high end stuff. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to take something really crazy, a reverse piano or something, and then triggering little bits out of that. And that I found really, really good in terms of. I'm not usually a happy accidents kind of person, but if you're just trying to create rhythms, that's a
Best thing you can do is just sit there and click record.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
the best thing. I tell you what, the 2 tracks that I'm writing. I'm in the middle of writing about 8 tracks at the minute. But the 2 of the things that I'm doing, the tracks in particular, I've just read a comment there and I've just put me off my train of thought.
So I was just going to say a Damski's thing. Basically, Icing was saying I had to Google the Amen break, and so Damski was just saying the Amen break to Winston J is like the classic drum loop that is just kind of the back of so much stuff, not just drum and bass, but it's been used on so many. And it was just one. It was a breakdown loop in there of about 8 bars, wasn't it? That just got jumped out, and that was it. And
because you've got a double kick at the start, and then you've got a single kick later. And if you listen to a lot of drum and bass records, a lot of them will start with the single kick as well as just a double kick, and you can do a lot with it. It sounds great, compressed, quite heavy through Supercharger, which is one of the ones I'm using at the minute, Native Instruments plugin. It sounds awesome.
Wow, a Supercharger. What's that, like a distortion plugin? Or?
It's like a pretty heavy compressor. And cool. The one track I've given the working title of The Cat's Whiskers, not because I think it's brilliant, but because the 2 meters on the Supercharger are literally, I should have called it pinball, shouldn't I really? But they're literally flapping like a pair of whiskers.
Oh, cool.
I might call it pinball now, don't know. But,
hang on a second. Sorry, I was just going to say, Jack. Wow, there is a Mr. Wiggly video where I gave away some kick drum samples, and I have to say I'm pretty proud of them. They're the ones I use, and it was basically about modular, and there was a Schweiman filter and a Jomox kick drum combined, which are both of which are quite rare. And I was just demonstrating because I thought it was the best ever sounding kick drum I've ever I've made. So there's about 50 samples on there. So literally just look at the Mr. Wiggly channel and go back about 18 months. And it's really obvious because it's not a live stream. It's called The Greatest Kick Drum Ever or something like that. And 01 is my favourite, but Jex is 17. So if you want some, and they're decent as well, get some kick drums out of there.
Can I just say 2 of the places? Go, sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say Pulsar is now up there with the Jomox now. But I mean,
that's
it's
like
expensive.
my Eleanor of machines. I would so want a Pulsar.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while till I can afford one of them.
Yeah,
but
I'm really lucky because I'm doing some work with them. I've got one here, and it is good. They are expensive, but it is brilliant. It's massive.
Well, that new Erica synth Percons is 1,500 quid that Matt Hodson reviewed.
Yes.
So we'll give him a shout because that was a brilliant review, and I told him that on his channel.
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
Sonic Talk
Well, he
channel.
lives like not far from here, so I know him really well.
Okay.
And
brilliant
we spent a lot of time at Synfest together. They are almost like directly competitive, I think, because they're 4-voice drum machines.
Yeah.
They're roughly the same price.
Well, the 1,500 quid, isn't it, the Percons?
Oh, is it? Okay.
1,600 quid. I think the other one's about $2,000 in it, something like that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think. But the Lyra 8, I've wanted that ever since it come out, and that's on my hit list next. The Digitact is something that I sold and deeply, deeply, deeply regret because I do a lot with drums because, being drum and bass and stuff. But I'll say for plugins, the plugins that you can get, Punchbox by D16, fantastic plugin. And that's a fantastic drum designer. And the other one is there's something by Autodave called Mega Drum Machines, and you can either buy it as a VST or you can buy the sample pack. And the VST, all the controls instantly map, and it's fantastic. And there's literally every drum machine you can think of, there, from like the Dr. Rhythm Boss thing, whatever it was called.
I remember the DL16 or whatever I think it was.
To the KO Mini Pops before Korg was called Korg. I had one of them. I bought it locally for 10 quid. I sold it for 100. So they're ones that they used to stick underneath. They used to have them in churches, and they used to stick them underneath the organ as just an accompaniment section. And they sound shit just on their own.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? They sound like every
yeah.
cheesy thing, but it's multi-sample it. While I'm here, can I just draw attention to the TR Great?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Is that a wooden surround TR8?
No.
Hang on, let me zoom in on you as well, so we've got you full screen.
No, don't zoom on me. That's terrible. Don't look at my face. That's my modified TR8,
Oh,
which I've called the TR Great, because I think actually now it looks nice.
it does look good. What have you done to it?
Well, literally, you can see part of it where I ended up scratching more bloody paint off than I wanted to. But basically, I took the ends off, resprayed it, and found some decent paint pens and went round it. And then it's I found some very thin. I specifically went looking for and found some very thin tape.
All right.
Coloured tape. So yeah, I went round and did that and went all the way around the edges with it.
Oh, that's what that is. Right. Okay.
So when I took it apart, I've got some red permanent markers.
Right.
Well, I've got a pack of permanent markers, different colours, and I went over all the clear, what they call go around the lights, the bloody things.
Yes.
So I went the LED bounces.
Yeah.
So I went over all them in red because I looked at colour matching, and apparently if you put red and green together, it should make orange.
Okay.
And then it said you have to do 2 parts red and green. So I did 2 parts red all across it. But the green LED was just too powerful, and it didn't work. But
it looks interesting. I don't know if I can.
Much better.
I did. I got a Lyra 8, and I was playing around with it, and what I did was I'm just trying to rewind. It's only 20 seconds long, so I made a little thing for them showing what it could do, because it's sort of like a drone machine. But what I did was, basically, you can tune over a very wide range on each of these things. So the idea is you off-tune them, but what I did was I basically set them to be in tune at the top of the scale, and then put all the oscillators up, and I just went, so I knew they would end up at the right pitch, if you see what I mean. So, and sampled that rather than using it as a drone. So if I can, let me see if I can just play this. And it is super quick, but they just wanted a really kind of quick idea. Let's do that. Let's share this. This is just pulled straight from Facebook.
yeah. Yes, I told you I wanted that on the Pheonix Project. I do. Finish it off. Do you remember me messaging you and saying?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we can put that on there. That's a good idea.
It's very underworld. I love that.
I'd forgotten you'd heard that. Yeah, so that is just me just pushing the thing up,
That's awesome.
So they liked it because it wasn't a drone, because these things really, they haven't got MIDI in. They just make loads of drones. But I think if you can just really kind of let it rip, they're so fat. I mean...
And they've got an audio in signal through the filter as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
I tell you, I've wanted one of those for so long. The only question now is what colour and when can I actually get one? But
Orange.
honestly,
their green ones are good. But I mean, I have an interest because basically I help them out in the UK, so I get a discount. But I mean, they are insane.
Brilliant. Let me know where.
They're the only company I think I would kind of put a flag up, because I'm trying to remain inert from the companies and stuff. But there's not a bad word to say about that kit. Maybe you could say it's expensive, but it's built like a tank, and it just sounds insanely good.
I love Soma stuff because it's just so different. And I've got the Ether, which
that I haven't played with. Wow,
it's really good. It's basic for anybody who doesn't know. The Soma Ether, it's probably about this big, right? And what it does is, you get an FM radio, and the goal is to get rid of all the the shit in between and just get to the songs. Well, the aim of this is to get rid of the songs and get to all the shit in between. So it basically it gets draws electromagnetic signals, and it's very hit and miss. But I've got a mission to take it around the BT Tower in Birmingham and all the way around the Bull Ring and all the way around New Street train. In fact, next time I get the train, all the way around New Street train station, and I'll just look like some sort of loon with this on a pole and a pair of headphones on.
You're in a great big aerial off your hat. But
yeah,
I mean, I was reading about Vlad, the guy behind all of the designs, and I think he trained in the broadcast industry or the radio industry originally, because they are. It's just off the wall. The way they come up with things it sounds different. I mean, the kick drum on that track, actually thinking about it, that was a Pulsar 23. So there really were no.
I would love one.
There were no samples on there. I mean, when you look at it, there's only 4 channels on there, but they are. I was chatting to a guy about Surgeon and the DJ Anthony, and he said, "I really like Surgeon." And there's another DJ I was talking to, and I really love what he does. It was very, very inspirational. And we talked about Pulsar, and he said, "Yeah, I think Anthony that Surgeon did about 20 minutes at the last gig I went to, just using the kick drum channel." And it's like, I can imagine that. Do you know what I mean?
And the thing about Surgeon is he doesn't have
one track.
Yeah, he doesn't have to play fast either.
No,
he doesn't play fast necessarily, and he doesn't always play the thumping stuff. But I love Surgeon. He's brilliant.
Yeah,
I love all the really odd techno.
Literally, kind of just imagine 20 minutes on just the kick drum. It's just that's fantastic. David Surchek saying he'd get the black. He was orange, and he'd get the black one now. And so it's confidently saying the white one has the most ethereal sound. I think they all sound slightly different, to be honest.
I'm thinking green and pink just to be different.
The mint green is cool, yeah.
It's not what you've got, it's how you use it.
Oh, right? What's that?
That, you were talking to Stephen Buckley the other week. That's a Yamaha PSS 790. Oh, right, wow. I've got a Touch Music sticker on because I've ripped half the front of it off. And that creates noise. It creates noise, but I've ripped. It's a home keyboard from the 90s, I think, or late 80s or something. And
right.
I've ripped the keys off it. I've ripped the keys off it. I've ripped the speakers off it. I've ripped all the surround off it. But you put that through I did this on my Facebook page the other day. You put that through an NTS1. Honestly, it's not how much money you spend on gear. It's where the ideas are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is true. That goes back to the incinerator plugin I met, which was having that conversation about, well, look, just put a mic in front of your speakers, record that synth, that VST, and put it back in with the sound. You hear the sound of the air moving. Jim Glue, not content with being a man of many gigs at the moment and literally taking off all over the place, built his own version of the ether effectively.
Excellent.
My word, I need to know more about this. That sounds amazing. I wonder how he did that. Maybe software-defined radio or something like that. Anyway, Robert Fat Dust, geez, who in the world would enjoy Pulsar 23? Robert Fat Dust is one of the biggest fans of the Pulsar 23 and Soma brand in the world, so I think that's slightly tongue-in-cheek. We've already experienced the Soma ethereal effect with your phone being next to the cable. Actually, that's kind of a classic one, isn't it? Oh, Jim says it costs 14 quid. We need to know more, Jim. Maybe you could come on and talk about your man of many talents. Come and talk about it on the next stream. That would be quite cool.
I've got a little Yamaha thing here for circuit bending when I get into circuit bending. I'm ready to get into that now.
These things, that's the thing you showed, right? There's one. I've got one here.
Yeah.
I use the effects of this on modular. I mean, I play around with the oscillators and everything, but as an effects box with an external input, if you run it off of really smooth power supply, because they're a little bit noisy, they sound great. The reverb and the delay, that's all you need. It's a very cheap, workable effects box actually, which is kind of neat. Yeah. What else? Magical boxes of tricks and stuff are you into? Is there any dream synths outside of the?
I've been lucky enough to own a lot of them in the past, but I've got to be honest. For me, the best workflow is when I've got hardly anything behind you. So technically, there's 2 guitars. There's an acoustic, electroacoustic, and there's an electric. There's a Strat. Behind me, behind the desk, there's a drum kit that I need to sort out. A shitty old drum kit that I got for free. It's covered in bird shit, been left outside for ages, but it was free, and it doesn't matter. It cost me nothing, so I'm not losing anything.
Yeah.
you know, but I do like. I am getting more now into stuff like the Coma Field Kit. I had that for a while. That's something I'm going to buy back, and
nice.
the Field Kit effects. So I'm going to buy them back. On the Digitact, I definitely want to buy back, because what I've found is that it's not, for me, it's not about the synths that come in here, right? There's been a lot of synths pass through here. There's been JX3P, CS5, Caesar 3000s, Analog Solutions, Fusebox, and that was pretty cool when Tom used to live just around the corner. So I'd go down into his workshop and have a chat with him. And I'd look over his shoulder at his computer and say, "What are you designing next then?" And he'd tell me. I'd look over his shoulder and say, "Oh, right." And I'd see I'd see him label it up what he called it. But he changed he changed the name of it. That was obviously a working.
That guy's here again, looking at my computer.
But yeah, so I've been through a lot of stuff. But for me now, and this is part of the interview I did with Ron, we were talking about soft synths and where they're at now. I won't pay for a subscription. No way. It's not what I want to do. But there's so much quality out there where you don't have to pay for a subscription. If I can get it in a soft synth, I won't buy hardware. I won't buy the hardware equivalent, because it means nothing for me,
Right.
personally.
Right.
And I don't have the space. This isn't a massive room, you know. You're looking behind me at the widest part of the room. The good part about it is that it's angular. There's angles all over the place.
Right, so you've got no standing waves going on and all that stuff.
Well, very little, yeah.
Right.
And I do need to measure the room and get some stuff up, but I ain't taking my Sabbath thing down, no way. With my signatures on. But I'd rather just use headphones. But, yeah, I mean, the fact is, if I can get it in a soft synth, and I've got a £30 MacBook Pro that's upstairs. I haven't brought it down yet, but I bought that 30 quid off eBay. You know, I've stuck an SSD in it so it runs quick, and then there's loads of free soft synths that you can get from Tal Audio, and I've got loads and loads of old 32-bit plugins that's ideal for.
Right,
like a lot of the Rob Papen stuff. Yeah, well, there's Predator, Albino Blue. They're fantastic. There's some other stuff, some old NI stuff, like Rich Hilton was going on about, I don't know if it's in your show or in a different one, but Rich Hilton was going on about Pro 53, right? And the conversation was about how when companies stop supporting stuff, right? Well, I've got Pro 53 on the Mac, the old one. It's a 2006 Core 2 Duo, but for me, it's a sound engine. It's a sound library,
right? Yeah.
It just sits on this laptop stand here with an audio cable out, going straight into the back of this audio interface.
That's a fantastic idea. I mean, you know, if you can get a MacBook Pro for 30 quid that can run that stuff, I mean, what a amazingly
why
brilliant.
not?
Yeah, completely. I bought.
It
I wasn't part of that conversation actually. Maybe it was a Sonic State one over, but I actually bought that.
Must have been
when it came out. And I was just committed to never to be used again. But that's absolutely brilliant to have something like that sitting there.
It makes sense, because otherwise you're going to lose all your plugins that you've got. I used to write so much stuff in Predator and Blue and Albino, and they're brilliant plugins, and I don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing that got me a better bridge, like J Bridge or the other one, 32 Lives or Lives or however you pronounce it, is that when I think it was J Bridge I was using, but when I turned the dial virtually on the screen, nothing happened. I could hear the difference, but nothing happened. And sometimes I need that visual representation of what's going on.
Yeah.
Conversely, I'm also thinking I need to do away with the visual representation, and even though I don't need a mixing desk as such, I might do when I start getting a little bit more hardware in, but even though I don't need a mixing desk as such, for me personally, I want to go back to the old school a little bit, where I'm mixing with my ears more than my eyes.
Oh, I get that.
Do you know what I mean?
Also, you used to play the desk. That's the thing I remember when we were doing the dance stuff on the Mackies and all the rest of it. We'd have the effects there. I've always been banging on about all of the controllers that you can get for Logic and all of those. They don't have enough effects sends. They've got, a selector channel and some stuff. Whereas I remember, you'd be sending to the delay and then sending the delay on itself, and you'd just be playing stuff, you know, and it would just give it a bit of life. Whereas
Yeah.
it's hard to do that now in the box, simply because people don't really think that way in terms of. I know a couple of one person in particular who's trying to build a desk that will allow that kind of stuff a bit more. But at the moment, you have to get a combination of stuff to do it. But yeah, it is another world now. But yeah, it's a great idea with the MacBook. And what about future plans, I guess, in terms of what you're going to do next?
This is where I've had a little bit of a moan this week about Bandcamp and stuff and sales and interest.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a moan, but I saw you saying you were going to revamp everything and everything's going to change.
I wouldn't say it was a moan as such, but yeah, maybe it was a little bit. Something triggered me basically that I saw that I thought, you know what, I'm not doing something right here. So I'm making changes with that, and the idea was that as of 9 o'clock tonight, I was going to pull all the singles off of Bandcamp and make them only subscriber based, and going forward only put albums on there for general consumption. Now that's something that I am going to do, but because I've got some nice comments about that one now that I wasn't that keen on, I'll leave it up.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Well, it is.
I've got to be honest.
Not
I listened
marketed
to
very well.
I don't know. I flicked through, listened to it, and I thought, do you know, that's really going to work. It's nice, got a really smooth opening. It's just nice sounding. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm surprised when you said, yeah, that's the one I least like, because it was the most obviously almost commercial, I guess, in a way there. But as a first listen, as a guy who's not listened to too much of your back catalogue.
I think I just think I could have done more.
Yeah, we can always do more. I mean, that's the trouble with music. You never finish it.
Yeah.
That's why I leave everything to the last minute. It's like,
well,
you've got a deadline, it's done.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't like deadlines. I won't work to them. And the two
gig deadlines, though. I mean, not.
Oh, sorry.
Do you know what I mean? If you've got a gig.
Yeah. The two tracks that I like on the two tracks that I like the most on there, that I feel that I've come. Yeah. Okay. Wagyu. Yeah. Maybe I need to have a rethink.
Wagyu's just saying you think it'd be a shame to hide stuff on there unless the singles are exactly duplicated on the albums. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
The two tracks on there that I'm most pleased with are Peace and Natural Wonder. And I'll tell you what I'd used to make those tracks. It was nothing fancy. It was a 2013 MacBook Pro running Ableton 10 and Suite and Machine Micro. And I use that for Peace, Natural Wonder, my two favourite tunes on there. They're more like ambient-y, sort of put your headphones on, close your eyes and chill out to. And Cosmic Geisha, another track on there. That was all I used. And when I realised that was all... Three things have led to this. First of all, right? When I realised that's all I was using... all this music gear, all these software synth, all these hardware synths I'm using, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed when I come into the studio and I look at them and I think, I just want to use a bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? It's too much. I know what you mean. Yeah. I had to get rid of them, and then so I did that with them, and then one of the new ones I've done on almost more or less completely the main ambient part on the MacBook Pro, the old one. Mm-hmm. And I just use Ableton more than anything else.
That's all you need.
It's more for me about workflow. The Digitact has got its own workflow.
Yeah.
It's got its own workflow.
I got into the Deluge ones for exactly that, just because I was sitting down at the keyboard playing the same chords and starting from the same point, you know. And it's like if you can find something that forces you into a different mindset or workflow, that's a good thing, you know.
Don't just start with kick drums.
No, exactly. It's strange, isn't it? But so your experience of Bandcamp, what was causing you to think that you needed to change it? Just a lack of sales or a lack of...
Just a lack of sales and interest, really. Right. I mean, doing things like this are really going to help. But then at the same time, I have to take some responsibility for it, because I don't think I've pushed it as hard as I can. I don't think I've done as much as I possibly could. Yeah, I'm beating myself up over it, and that's the thing with me. I do tend to beat myself up a lot over stuff, whether it's my fault or not. I take a lot of blame and responsibility.
You take the responsibility, whatever. I mean, it's
I'm
hard.
too hard on myself.
Yeah, promotion is it's a very hard thing, you know, a really, really hard thing. And people aren't going to naturally just go and find stuff. There's a lot on Bandcamp. So, you know, I mean, somebody like Oliver Gold is good at self-promotion. Somebody like Clown, you know, and Clown Army stuff, that's good at promotion and all the rest of it. They're not shifting huge huge.
Do you know what it is for me, though? I'm such a humble person. And I'm such a humble person, I don't want to fire off on places like social media and Bandcamp going, hey, look at this is amazing, it's fantastic. It's always a case of, I'm probably too polite. Yeah, as in, well, you know, please go and check it out. I'm not going to beg, but please go and check it out. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that has its charm as well, you know, but it's very difficult. I don't think any of us are very good at going out there and saying, look at me. But, I mean, David Serchek saying Bandcamp takes a ton of work and still challenging. Don't be too hard on yourself. I think that's exactly right.
I think I am just too hard on myself. I'm too humble and I'm too hard on myself.
Creative people are the hardest on themselves. It's
you always difficult. Wonder what you could have done more. But you need to try and push it, but without being an irritating pain in the arse. And do you know what I mean? Annoying
absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
And it's like a tightrope, you know, that thing in Train Spotting. It's a tightrope, Spud.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I mean? It is.
Yes.
It is a tightrope.
So, and then in the future, just to tie this, bring it round neatly then. So you're not going to take stuff off, but you've got new tracks coming. I mean, in a year's time, what do we hope to be looking back on, I guess, is the question.
I'm in the middle of writing about 8 tracks, some of which are drum and bass, some of which are very ambient and textures, and like I said, like live recordings that I've made in Birmingham City or Wolverhampton when I go up there. You know, life. I like using these things because I like photos. I like photos more than I like videos, because for me, a photo, you look at it and you can make your own imagination tell you what was happening in real time. Yeah. With an audio recording, I can do the same. People will listen to it and they will bring their own image of what's going on. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I like that. So I'll be doing stuff with more textures. I'll be doing more. I'm going back to my drum and bass roots a lot.
Good.
In all fairness, and I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing a lot more. It'll be genre noise appreciation crew. The whole point of it is it's genre free for me. Mm-hmm. So there'll be hard techno, there'll be ambient stuff, there'll be drum and bass, there'll be some trip hop, there'll be just a bit of all sorts really. And the album will come out when it's ready. I don't put deadlines on myself, because for that to come out, if I'm going to put my moniker on it, it
has to be right.
It's got to be right. Yeah. But at the same time, don't be too hard on yourself so that it takes forever and it never comes out.
Yeah,
I think that's a lesson to learn.
That's another fine line, isn't it? Absolutely. There's a question from Half God, Half Beast. What instruments do you use in Ableton, VSTs, or native operator analog wavetable?
I've only really started using more Ableton native plugins recently. I use Simpler a lot. I do a hell of a lot of sampling. I do a lot of sampling, and I play around with stuff an awful lot in Ableton. I don't want to say what specifically, because I feel like that's probably the only thing I've got in my arsenal at the minute. The way I make my music, but you know, it's like asking a magician to say who pulls Ankies out. You know, but for me, my top VSTs that I use all the time are the chord collection, and a lot of the strings on my tracks that you hear will be Wave Station. So the chord collection, which is M1, Wave Station, Poly 6 I use quite a lot, and Monopoly, that's another one, really, really good. I use NI, Absinthe, which, boo, you've got rid of it, NI. Shame on you.
Yeah.
On one hand, it's good because of the NI 14, the Complete 14, because you've got these cinemascapes and, you know, whatever.
Right.
Loads of people are doing it, but I'm not going to use that to sacrifice Absinthe. I've got loads of stuff here I can sample and get strings off. Do you know what I mean? So I use Korg a lot, hell of a lot. D16 Punchbox. I use what else do I use now? I'm trying to think. But for the native stuff, I use Operator for bass lines a lot. The bass lines in that last track you heard were all Operator.
Wow.
The wobbles and the 808 style.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use Simpler a lot with a lot of sampling. And yeah, for the Ableton stuff, I do use some stock Ableton effects more than anything else, really. I use a lot of gates and Sound Toys Tremolator. I've got a lot of Sound Toys stuff, but Sound Toys Tremolator is really, really good.
Yeah.
Ask me what I'm using on the spot and I can't remember.
So I mean, that's plenty. Honestly, it's really interesting. I like watching, looking at what apps are on people's phones and seeing what plugins are in their most used folder.
Now you're talking a different level. So sampler and
no,
operates
really a very powerful beast. There's Half God, Half Beast, and he should know. And the Sound Toys bundle, when it's on sale, is a bargain. I agree. Yeah, it's very, very good. Very, very good. Okay, absolutely. Well, listen, I mean, I think it's probably a wind-up time. We've been chatting away. It's just time has flown. We're way longer than a normal stream, actually, which has been brilliant. Thank you. So you won the quiz as well.
I can't believe that.
That's like
told you.
So rare.
How old's your daughter? How old is she?
She's 10. Yeah.
10. A quiz by a 10-year-old. To win that is kind of... That's an achievement in itself.
Yeah. No, it's
my
astonishing.
daughter's 7 and
because
I know I won't win that.
Well, the only other time is usually like Adamski's Wonderful Children 1 as well, but they kind of think along the same kind of level. Do you know what I mean? There's like a telepathy between 10-year-olds. But Lion Sound unfortunately had a power cut, missed the whole show. I'm sorry about that, Lion. Valhalla. Actually, that's a good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do use that, yeah. The convolution in Ableton as well. Then I use a lot of Max for Live stuff. Buffer shuffler, use it creatively, and convolution reverb.
Right, nice. That's what you need. Oh yeah, I'm tempted to go and buy a £30 Mac now and just have it sitting there full of sound.
They do exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I will put all the links to as much stuff as I can find that's been discussed under here for people when they're coming back to watch it. We put
I've just created a new page on Facebook. Go and like and follow my page on Facebook. I'm halfway through creating a website. Noise Appreciation Crew page on Facebook. It needs a bit of a boost. Please give it a like and a follow on my YouTube channel. Just Google it. And on Bandcamp. And I've started a website, but it's all gone TU this weekend. So forget that one. Check back on that one in about 2 weeks, and it'll be sorted.
Let me find the Noise Appreciation Crew page on Facebook, and then I can put that in the chat now. Brand new, yeah. Okay, here we go.
YouTube, Bandcamp.
So we've got them. All right, so this is Noise Appreciation Crew Facebook. And for those of you who don't Facebook, I have the Noise Appreciation Crew Bandcamp page because I played something from it before. So that's kind of cool. That is this one coming up. And the YouTube... see if I can find you on YouTube just before we go. So it's already there. There you go. Got the YouTube as well. And there is a YouTube. So please, bang on over there and give us a follow. That would be really, really useful. Thank you, Adamski. That's really kind of you to say. Obviously, you should get in touch. I think you've got some common interests going on there. Adamski is building the most amazing synthesizers. I don't know if you followed him. Just amazing.
I need to check it. Well, can I just say as well, if I've interrupted you, I'm really sorry, but I'm in the middle of waiting testing for ADHD, and part of that is interrupting people. So I'm really, really sorry. I'm quite conscious of it. I don't want to come across as overbearing.
No interrupting at all. No, that's fine. No. You haven't at all, and if you had, it was very worthwhile. So no, don't worry about it in the slightest. Brilliant. Okay, well, honestly, thank you. It's been a really, really fun guest and really interesting on the music side. We talked more about music today than we've kind of normally done, which is great. I love that. The chat about plugins and stuff is really usful.
Yeah, I like doing it.
And the whole thing. So yeah, I'd love to get you back and maybe get you back in a year or so and find out how things have moved on. Yeah. Let's stay in touch, definitely. Obviously. We'll keep in touch. And really good luck on the charity thing. If people that are seeing the Facebook side of thing, go and check out the charity releases. I've got a track on the next one. I've promised a track on the next
You
one.
will
It
have.
might even be that Pulsar one. We shall see. We shall see how it goes. So
Well, could I have that one as well? I'll be so I told you, being cheeky, it's the only way I can
is
do
where it
this.
works. We'll see. All right. Thanks everybody in the chat. You've been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you,
If you
everybody.
want a more serious chat on a Wednesday at 9:00 p.m. UK time, we will be talking about antidepressants, a non-music based stream with Oliver Gold. But the usual Sunday stream will be back next week. So thank you very much and thank
Pork
you
nuggets.
to the donators. Pork nuggets for Oliver Gold. Thank you for the donations as well. Take care, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Urbanist connect so with the hermite. Link up the harmonized, bless the termite. But beyond obsolete blessings, a birthright. We live a life which a lot of in us are worldwide. Cosmic love energy, I go herbicide free, organically, me say worthwhile. Watch the way one of you turn points in terms of definitions and some termites. Yes, I check the eye. One side is defined by one side the other. I.e. I am an ideas man. I assign too much of the qualities of my child. Who's we up talking like this to me? One is a construct, one is a creativity. The supreme one, all encompassing information in and of itself, most definitely. Another life infinitely, most life infinitely. Beyond the scripture, niceness can be. Blessed be. I continually, Mr. Pick up a being as the infinity.